Hi, Bio47. I saw some talk in the discussion boards and in the self-introductions that some of you all were nervous about study strategies for this class and how exactly you were going to tackle all of the material. So I wanted to make a video where I talk about some study strategies for anatomy and what makes them effective. The number one thing that makes studying effective is in three parts. You need to have active, repeated study that is conducted over time. So active, repeated study over time. Active means not just listening to lecture, not just reading the textbook, but you doing something to cement the material in your mind. That could be that you make flashcards and you use flashcards. It's a way to quiz yourself. You could label diagrams or draw your own diagrams to label. You can quiz yourself or use online quizzes. One really good way to know that you understand something thoroughly is to explain it to somebody else. If you can explain it to somebody, then you really know it. It's good to have a study group for this reason, because you have multiple people who can explain anatomy to each other, but you can also explain anatomy to your friends or your family. They'll probably learn a lot of anatomy this semester too. It's a topic that most people find interesting because everybody has a body. One thing that works for some people is to get anatomy coloring books like this one. And people have told me, that it's pretty meditative to sit there and color in the maxillary bone. And while you're coloring it, you're just thinking maxillary bone, maxillary bone, maxillary bone, and getting some of that active review. So I said it needs to be active study. It also needs to be repeated over time. Repetition, repetition, repetition. See what I did there? It's important to repeat it because you may know all of your flashcards one day. You may go through all of them, have all of the answers, but the next day you look at it, you can't remember everything. So you need to make sure that you have repeated study of the same material to really ensure that you know it. Another advantage of repetition is that you can add complexity each time that you study something. For instance, maybe one day you look at a labeled diagram and you read the names, review the features. The next day, you can have an unlabeled version of that same diagram and see if you can label it yourself. That requires you to have a little bit more knowledge of what you're studying. On the next day, maybe don't have any diagram in front of you at all and try to draw your own diagram. So you can add complexity with each repetition. The last part is that your study needs to take place over time. You need time for everything to get into your working memory. You need to start these study strategies now, not right before the test, which is also known as cramming. It's not super effective. So you need to study over time, start doing it now, and do just a little bit every day. One final note on studying is that if you're studying correctly, studying can be uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because the idea behind studying is to figure out what you don't yet know and then learn the things that you need to know. So if you're studying correctly, you're not just going through the flashcards that you already know the answers to, but you're going to focus most on those flashcards where they're so tricky that you still don't have it. So it's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, but it's going to be really rewarding when you do realize that you have all of the knowledge that you need for that upcoming anatomy exam.